All right, welcome to another deep dive. This time we're going to be taking a look at reality transurfing by Vadam Zeland.
Okay.
And some excerpts that you sent over about it. I have to admit, I am finding this pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
The ideas are, I don't know, kind of mind-bending in a way.
Yeah, it's a very different framework for understanding reality.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole thing about like we create our own reality.
Right.
And then like these pendulums he talks about.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
Challenging.
yeah, challenging for sure.
It can be.
So maybe for those listening who maybe haven't heard of reality transurfing,
Okay.
can you give us like a quick overview? Like when he talks about creating our own reality, what does he actually mean by that?
Well, he's talking about the idea that there is a space of variations, an infinite number of possibilities,
Mm-hmm.
and that our thoughts, beliefs, and actions act like a filter to draw certain realities to us.
So it's like we're kind of tuning into like a
Mhm.
radio frequency almost,
Yeah.
like with our thoughts.
It is. It's a really good analogy. And he takes it a step further and says that the world isn't the same for everyone. It's not just that people experience it differently, but that the very fabric of reality is shaped by how we're interacting with this field of variations.
Okay, yeah, so that makes sense why like some people seem to like effortlessly have success,
Right.
and some people struggle even when it seems like they're putting in the same effort.
Yeah, he uses the example of generational layers
Okay.
to kind of illustrate this. Like, if an older generation has this belief that, like, life gets worse as you age,
Mm-hmm.
then their collective energy can actually shift their reality towards a less favorable path, and younger generations influenced by this may follow a similar trajectory.
But I wonder, like, if we're all creating our own realities, how do we end up with, like, shared experiences?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like a war or a pandemic.
That's where his concept of pendulums comes in.
Okay.
So imagine a pendulum swinging back and forth, right? And that pendulum is like a structure made of energy created by collective thought patterns. It could be fear, it could be anger, or even shared goals.
So is it like this force that's kind of like pushing us towards certain things
Yes.
and then like playing on our emotions to make us act in certain ways?
Yes, he uses this analogy of a beehive
Okay.
to really illustrate how pendulums operate. So you have this peaceful beehive that's just humming along,
Mm-hmm.
and then a pendulum representing an outside force like fear or conflict comes along and stirs things up
Okay.
and directs the bee's attention towards a group of wild bees as the enemy.
I see.
And suddenly the bees are caught up in this battle, feeding energy into this conflict.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you see it all the time on social media.
Yes.
Like everyone's so quick to get riled up
Yeah.
and form these like us versus them mentalities
Yeah.
about anything.
And the idea is that once we get caught up in this game, we start radiating energy at the same frequency
Okay.
as the pendulum, which then, according to Zeland, can shift us toward lifelines that match those negative emotions.
Okay. So then what can we do? Like, let's say you've identified a pendulum.
Yeah.
How do we resist its pull? Because they feel like, I don't know, they're kind of everywhere.
Yeah, well, he has some strategies.
Okay.
One is to disrupt the pattern by doing something unexpected.
Right.
He tells this story about a friend who neutralized a bully on a tram by reacting in a completely unpredictable way,
Oh,
which threw the bully off balance and broke his hold.
I like that. So we don't have to react in the way they're expecting.
Yeah, exactly. And that leads to another one of his strategies, which is conscious choice.
Okay.
So instead of mindlessly feeding into negative pendulums, we can consciously choose which ones we engage with.
Mhm.
And here's where it gets really interesting. He says that there are also beneficial pendulums out there.
So like pendulums that can actually help us
Yes,
instead of hurt us.
absolutely. Like pendulums related to things like creativity or collaboration.
Or personal growth. They can uplift us, connect us with a network of positive energy and possibilities.
So it's like being mindful of where we're focusing
Yes.
and choosing to align ourselves with energies that actually support us.
Yes, exactly.
And it makes me think about another point that Zeland makes, which is reducing importance.
Yes, that's a really crucial aspect of reality transurfing.
So how does importance play into all of this?
He suggests that when we give something inflated meaning, whether it's a job or a possession or even our own flaws,
Mm-hmm.
we create this excess potential
Okay.
that can lead to more problems.
Okay, can you give an example of that? Like, what do you mean by excess potential and like how it might play out?
So imagine someone who is obsessed with getting a promotion at work,
Mm-hmm.
and they put all their hopes and happiness on this one goal,
Mm-hmm.
and they neglect their health and their relationships and everything else that matters.
Right.
That singular focus creates so much pressure.
And even if they do get the promotion, they might find that they feel empty or burnt out because they sacrifice so much.
Right, it's like putting all your eggs in one basket, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And Zeland uses this term, renting yourself out, to describe how we become slaves to the importance we place on work.
I see.
He suggests that instead we should detach from the need for external validation and find joy and fulfillment in the process itself.
So it's like finding that spot where you're like engaged and passionate about what you're doing,
Right.
but it's not controlling your entire identity.
Yes, precisely.
So, and this whole importance thing ties into the pendulums,
Yes.
because when we're caught up in that importance, we're more susceptible to those pendulums.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
But then when we release that grip, we kind of create space for those beneficial pendulums to come in.
That's a great way to put it.
It's like we're clearing the clutter
Mm-hmm.
to allow those things to come in.
Exactly. And this brings us to another fascinating aspect of Zeland's model. Slides.
Okay, slides. Now this is where I'm like,
It can be a little fuzzy.
a little fuzzy on this.
Yeah.
So what are slides?
Okay, so think of a slide as a mental projection,
Okay.
a visualization of a specific reality.
Hmm.
Now, Zeland argues that negative slides,
Okay.
those focused on fears, doubts, insecurities,
Mm-hmm.
can actually distort our perception
Okay.
and even attract those unwanted experiences into our lives.
So like if I'm constantly worried about being broke,
Right.
I'm more likely to experience that?
That's the idea, yeah. But the flip side is equally powerful.
Okay.
Positive slides focused on our goals and aspirations can help us manifest our desires.
So it's like we're creating this vision board
Exactly.
in our mind,
Yes.
and then we attract it into our lives.
But Zeland emphasizes that it's not just about visualizing the end result.
So,
He says we need to visualize the process, the steps we take to achieve that goal, and feel the emotions associated with it.
oh, I see. So it's not just about seeing myself living in like a beautiful house.
Right.
It's about like feeling the joy of like picking that house.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
He gives a compelling example. Imagine wanting to be wealthy, but feeling uncomfortable walking into an expensive shop.
Okay.
That discomfort, he says, is a sign that your slide is out of sync with your desire.
I see.
You haven't yet embodied the feeling of wealth, so it feels foreign or unattainable.
So it's like aligning your inner reality
Yes.
with your outer desires.
Yes, exactly.
Now this makes me wonder, where does the heart fit into all of this?
Yeah.
We've been talking about thoughts, beliefs, visualizations.
All
What
right.
about like emotions, intuition, heart's desires, that kind of thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. It leads us to one of the most profound and perhaps challenging aspects of transurfing.
Okay.
He suggests that the heart actually has its own star sector in the information field, a place where our true purpose, our unique potential resides.
So it's like our heart already knows the way,
Yeah.
but our mind needs to learn to listen.
Exactly. He talks about achieving harmony between the heart and mind,
Okay.
allowing the heart to guide us while the mind figures out the practical steps.
So how do we learn to listen to that? Like the heart wisdom.
Well, that's where he introduces this concept that might surprise you,
Okay.
the idea of a guardian angel.
Okay, tell me more. I want to hear about this guardian angel.
He's not talking about like a literal angel sitting on your shoulder.
Okay.
He's using that term to describe the intuitive voice of the heart,
Okay.
that sense of inner knowing that guides us towards what's right for us.
That makes sense. It's like that feeling of being protected
Yes.
or like supported unconditionally.
Exactly.
Oh.
And he suggests that cultivating this sense of connection with our guardian angel can bring us peace, clarity, and direction.
Okay. So if we can learn to listen to that heart wisdom, to align our minds with that purpose, what does that allow us to do in terms of shaping our reality?
Well, that's where he introduces one of the most intriguing and perhaps most misunderstood concepts in transurfing, the
Okay.
idea of outer intention.
Okay, so we're going to have to dive into that next time.
Yes,
I think that's this is a lot to process.
it is. It is.
So listeners, hang in there with us,
Yes.
and we're going to dive into outer intention next time.
There's much more to explore.
All right, welcome back. So we are continuing our deep dive into reality transurfing.
Yeah.
And, before the break, we kind of hinted at this idea of outer intention.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to admit, this is one of the concepts I'm like the most curious about.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
So for those listening, what is outer intention like? How do we even wrap our heads around that?
Well, basically, he's saying that outer intention is a force outside of our own individual will that can help us manifest our desires, but it only works when our heart and mind are truly aligned.
So it's not like willpower
No,
or forcing things to happen. It's more like tapping into something.
it's surrendering to a current
Oh, okay.
that's already moving in the direction we want to go.
I see.
He uses this really interesting metaphor of a dual mirror to explain how outer intention works.
Okay, a dual mirror.
Yeah. So imagine like a mirror reflecting our reality back to us.
Mm-hmm.
And we often try to change the reflection,
Yeah.
right? Like fight against what we see.
We don't like what we see. We try to change it.
But Zeland says that's not how it works.
Yeah.
We need to change the image that we're projecting, like the thoughts, beliefs, emotions that are creating that reflection in the first place.
So it's like we're changing the input, not the output.
Exactly, yeah. We can't force the mirror to show us what we want. We have to shift the image that's being reflected.
I see.
And when our heart and mind are congruent, when we're projecting a clear and aligned image, that's when he says outer intention steps in and can help manifest that reality.
Okay.
But here's the thing. If we're projecting negativity, fear, or doubt, we block outer intention from working.
It's almost like we're getting in our own way then.
We are. He uses this analogy of a snooker player who accidentally blocks their own shot.
Okay.
So it's not that the player isn't skilled or doesn't have the right intentions, but they've created an obstacle that prevents them from achieving the goal.
So can you give like an example of how that might actually happen?
Sure. So let's say someone wants to start a business,
Mm-hmm.
but they're constantly thinking about failure, self-doubt, financial worries.
Okay.
Those fears are like a wall blocking the flow of outer intention.
So even if they're taking action, like making a plan and doing the work, if they have those thoughts,
They could be preventing themselves.
is blocking them.
Yeah, they're sending mixed signals to the universe.
Okay.
Their actions are saying they want to create this thriving business,
Mm-hmm.
but their thoughts are saying, but what if I fail?
Right. So they're not like fully committed.
Right. And that lack of alignment creates resistance,
Hmm.
which prevents outer intention from fully supporting their endeavors.
Okay. So this kind of goes back to what we were talking about before with reducing importance.
Yes.
So by letting go of those fears,
We open ourselves up.
we open ourselves up.
Yes.
Okay. Now this is where it gets even more mind-bending, I think. This whole idea of co-creating our reality with what he calls God's dreams.
Right. It is a concept that challenges our conventional understanding of reality.
It really does.
But he presents it in a way that feels really profound and empowering at the same time.
Okay.
So he suggests that our individual realities aren't just isolated bubbles,
Okay.
but they're threads in a larger tapestry woven together by a universal consciousness, or what he calls God.
So it's like we're all characters in a play,
That's a beautiful analogy, yeah.
but like a cosmic play.
Yeah, a cosmic play. And he even brings up that fascinating Cleve Baxter experiment.
Oh yeah, the one the plants.
Yes, the one with the plants where he connected plants to a lie detector
Real-
and found that they were responding to human thoughts and intentions.
Like as if they were communicating.
Yes.
Wow.
And so while the scientific community still debates the validity of Baxter's findings,
Mm-hmm.
Zeland uses it to illustrate this idea that we are all connected, part of a larger energetic field,
Okay.
where thoughts and intentions have a real impact.
So then if we're all part of this larger dream, do our fears and doubts contribute to that too?
He suggests they do, but not in a way that should make us feel burdened or responsible for the world's problems.
Okay.
He reminds us that we don't need to struggle against reality to force things to happen.
Okay.
He says that God, or this universal creative force, doesn't struggle, it simply creates.
So we should step into that same creative power
Yes.
and trust that like even our fears and doubts are part of a larger plan?
That's the essence of it, yeah.
Okay.
He encourages us to view our intentions as God's intentions, to trust that the universe can provide what we need, and let go of the need to control every outcome. He even suggests this playful exercise of talking to the world, of saying, like, I let my world take care of me.
And just trusting
And trusting.
that it will.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I mean, this This is a lot to take in.
It is.
I mean, it's a big shift from how we're usually taught to approach life.
Yes.
It's like we've been given this incredible power to co-create, but we've forgotten how to use it.
And that's where reality transurfing comes in. It's about reclaiming that power, remembering who we are as conscious creators, and learning to dance with the universe in a way that allows us to manifest our desires without force or struggle.
Okay. But if we're all co-creating this reality, why is there so much conflict and negativity and suffering? It seems like a lot of people are tuned into some pretty dark frequencies, and that can't help but impact everyone.
Right. And he addresses this pretty directly.
Okay.
He argues that our tendency to focus on what we don't want, the things that we fear or dislike or resist, actually contributes to those negative experiences.
So it's like we're looking in that dual mirror again.
Yes.
And trying to change the reflection by, like, pushing against it.
It's like trying to smooth out wrinkles in a reflection by pressing on the mirror.
Oh, I see.
It just doesn't work. You have to change the source, the image, to change the reflection.
So we need to shift our focus from don't want to want.
Yes.
From, like, fear to desire.
Exactly.
From problem to solution.
It calls this mental hygiene.
Mental hygiene. Okay.
It's about clearing out the mental junk that's cluttering our perception.
So we can see more clearly.
Yes, and make space for a clearer, brighter reality to emerge.
It's like we're polishing that mirror.
Yes, perfect analogy.
So it can reflect a better image.
And once we've cleared that mental space, we can start to consciously choose the images we want to project.
Okay.
The reality we want to experience.
And those are the slides.
Those are the slides, yeah. So visualize the reality you desire. Feel it as if it's already happening. And remember, visualize the process.
Right.
The steps you take to achieve those goals, not just the end result.
Got it. But what about when things just feel completely out of control?
Yeah.
Like when we're facing challenges that seem impossible to overcome, like how does reality transurfing help us then? I mean, it's easy to like visualize and think positively when things are good.
Yeah.
But what about when life throws you a curveball?
Well, he offers a bunch of tools for navigating those difficult circumstances.
Okay.
One of the most powerful is what he calls coordinating intention.
Coordinating intention.
So it's about aligning our intention with the flow of events.
Okay.
With what he called the alternatives flow.
Okay.
So instead of resisting what's happening, we accept it, even if it's unpleasant, and we look for the opportunities it presents.
So we're kind of surrendering to the current, but trusting that it'll like lead us where we need to be.
Yes, but it's not passivity. He really emphasizes that we still take action, but we do it from a place of acceptance, alignment with the universe's plan.
I see.
Not from a place of fear or resistance.
He talks about like the negativist whose worst expectations always come true.
Yeah.
It's almost like their intention is shaping their reality.
It is. And he argues that if we can create negative realities through our beliefs and resistance, we can also create positive ones through acceptance and trust.
Okay.
And aligned action.
I like that. And he also talks about using humor to shift our perspective.
Yes.
Like to kind of detach from the drama and not take things so seriously.
He calls this reality inversion.
Okay.
And it's about playing with the script, you know, turning the tables on the pendulums that try to control us and refusing to get caught up in their games.
I love that. So taking back our power and choosing how we respond.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got pendulums, slides, mirrors, coordinating intention. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So how do we actually put all of this into practice?
Right.
Like in our daily lives?
Right.
What are some specific things that Zeland recommends for like aligning with outer intention and this whole God's dreams thing?
Well, he gives some practical techniques.
Okay.
And one of the simplest yet most profound is what he calls the transaction.
The transaction.
It's a two-part exercise designed to align our energy with our desired reality.
Okay.
So the first part is releasing importance, letting go of the need to control. He suggests this visualization where you imagine turning a key.
Okay.
And releasing the grip on whatever is causing you stress or anxiety.
So like unlocking yourself from those thoughts.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then the second part is visualizing the slide.
Okay.
The reality you desire as vividly as possible. Feel the emotions, experience the sensations as if it's happening right now.
Like sending a blueprint to the universe.
Exactly. And he says that the transaction isn't a one-time thing.
Okay.
It's something you can practice regularly.
To keep your energy aligned.
Throughout your day.
Okay. To keep your energy aligned with your goals and aspirations.
So we're like constantly fine-tuning.
Yes. And as you do this,
Right.
he suggests you'll start to notice what he calls shades in the scenery.
Shades in the scenery, okay.
Subtle shifts in your reality
Okay.
that indicate you're moving towards your desired lifeline.
So like synchronicities.
Yeah.
Little things that are like, oh, that's interesting.
Yes, pay attention to the signs.
Okay.
And believe that the universe is working in your favor.
Even if we can't always see it.
Yes.
Okay, so it feels like a whole new way of like being in the world.
It is.
Right? A new way of relating to yourself and everything around you.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It's exciting, but also kind of daunting because it's like a real shift in perspective.
It is. It is.
Right.
But that's the beauty of reality transurfing. It's not just a set of techniques.
Mm-hmm.
It's a paradigm shift, a new way of seeing. I see. But if we're supposed to like let go of control and trust the universe, what about personal responsibility?
Yeah.
Like we're still accountable for our choices and our actions, right? How does reality transurfing address that?
Right. And he does address that.
Okay.
He says that letting go of control doesn't mean becoming passive or irresponsible.
Okay, so it's not just sitting back and waiting for things to happen.
No, it's shifting from forcing to allowing.
Oh, what?
So he uses the analogy of a sailboat.
Okay.
So we set our sails, we choose our direction, but we allow the wind to carry us.
So we're still steering the ship, but we're not trying to row against the current.
Exactly. We're working with the natural forces of the universe, not against them.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that partnership, it requires both trust and action.
Yes.
Right? We take responsibility for our thoughts, beliefs, and actions, but we also trust that the universe is supporting us.
Yes.
Okay, so this brings us to another important aspect of reality transurfing, which is finding our door, our true path.
Yes.
But for many people, that path's not always clear.
Right.
Right. It can be, I don't know, kind of a winding road with lots of twists and turns.
It is a journey we all face.
So how do we find that door?
Well, he offers several guideposts along the way.
Okay.
He says that our door is aligned with our soul's purpose, with what brings us genuine joy and excitement, a sense of fulfillment.
So like following our bliss.
Yeah, exactly.
Paying attention to what lights us up.
And trusting your intuition.
Okay.
Listening to the whispers of your heart. He says the right door will feel expansive, energizing, aligned with your deepest values.
So it's not just about what we're good at or what we think we should be doing.
No.
It's about what really resonates.
Exactly. And this journey of finding our door is an ongoing process.
Okay.
It's not about arriving at a fixed destination. It's about embracing the adventure
Okay.
of exploration, following your curiosity.
But what if you have like multiple passions,
Yeah.
multiple doors that look good?
Yeah. And that's a really common struggle.
Yeah. How do we choose?
Well, he says, trust your intuition. Pay attention to which door feels the most expansive, the most energizing, the one that lights up your soul and makes you feel most alive.
So don't overthink it.
Don't overthink it.
Go with your gut.
Go with your gut. And even if you choose a door and it turns out to not be the perfect fit, you can always choose a new one.
All right.
There are no wrong turns.
Just lessons.
Just lessons.
Okay, this is making a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's like we've been conditioned to believe there's only one right path.
Right.
One right way to do things.
Yeah.
But reality transurfing is about like breaking free from those limitations.
Yes.
Embracing the infinite possibilities that are available.
That's it. It's about reclaiming our power as conscious creators and trusting that the universe is always conspiring to support our highest good.
But all this talk of trusting the universe, letting go, choosing our own reality, it can be scary too,
Yeah.
right? Like what if it doesn't work out?
Yeah.
What if we fail?
Well, that's a natural fear, and he acknowledges that.
Okay.
He emphasizes that failure is part of the process.
Okay.
It's an opportunity to learn, adjust course, try again.
So it's not about avoiding failure.
No.
It's about reframing it.
It's about reframing it as a stepping stone to success.
Okay.
Seeing those challenges as opportunities for growth.
Not as setbacks.
Not as setbacks, yeah.
Okay.
He even suggests that accepting the possibility of failure beforehand
Okay.
can reduce our fear and increase our chances of success
Oh, interesting.
because it releases the pressure, the need to control the outcome.
You're kind of taking the weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, you're allowing yourself to flow with the process.
Okay.
Trusting that even if you stumble, you'll ultimately land on your feet.
And that can open us up to new possibilities, right?
You can.
Like solutions we may not have seen if we were trying to control everything.
Yeah, it's like you're clearing the channel,
Yeah,
allowing the creative energy of the universe to flow through you.
I like that. Okay, so this is starting to feel like a whole new way of being in the world,
It is.
right? Trusting our intuition, embracing the unknown,
Mhm.
allowing ourselves to be guided by like something bigger than ourselves.
That's the beauty of reality transurfing. It's not just a set of techniques, it's a paradigm shift, a
Mm.
way of seeing reality through new eyes.
Okay. I have one more question about finding our door.
Okay.
So he says that we need to like give ourselves permission to have what we want,
Yeah.
to believe that we deserve the best.
Yes.
But what about when our desires conflict with the needs of others
Right?
or like our responsibilities
Yes.
to the people we love?
Yeah, that's a big one.
How do we balance personal fulfillment with those obligations?
And he explores this in depth, actually.
Yeah.
He argues that true fulfillment comes from aligning our desires with our soul's purpose,
Okay.
with what brings us genuine joy and
It's
satisfaction.
not about being selfish.
No.
It's about finding that place
Hmm.
where our passions and our talents intersect
With the needs of the world.
with the needs of the world.
Exactly. Right.
And he believes that when we are living in alignment with our true purpose,
Mm-hmm.
we naturally contribute to the well-being of others.
Okay.
It's like we're all part of this intricate web of life.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're fulfilling our own potential, we're also strengthening the entire web.
Yeah, I like that. But what about when we feel pulled in different directions?
Right.
Like we have to choose between our dreams and our obligations.
He acknowledges that those conflicts can arise.
Okay.
And he encourages us to find a balance, a way to integrate our personal aspirations with our commitments.
Mm.
He suggests that trying too hard to help others, to force our desires onto them, can backfire.
Oh, interesting.
It's like we're projecting our own unmet needs onto them
I see.
and creating an imbalance.
Okay.
That leads to resentment and conflict.
Mm.
So instead of trying to fix others or make them fit into our vision, we should focus on our own growth and fulfillment
Exactly.
and trust that by becoming the best versions of ourselves, we'll naturally inspire those around us.
He believes that when we are each fulfilling our unique potential, we create a ripple effect of positivity
Okay.
that spreads outward, touching everyone we encounter.
It's a beautiful perspective.
Yeah.
But with all this talk of co-creating with God's dreams and surrendering to the flow of the universe, what about when things just seem random?
Right.
When bad things happen to good people or our best efforts just don't seem to be enough?
Yeah.
How does reality transurfing address that sense of randomness or unfairness?
That's a great question, and one that he doesn't shy away from.
Okay.
He suggests that what we perceive as randomness or unfairness is often the result of our limited understanding of the bigger picture.
So it's not that they're random.
Yeah.
It's that we don't
I
understand.
can't see the whole picture.
Like we're only seeing a small piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. And the universe operates on a much grander scale
Okay.
than our individual minds can comprehend. What seems like a tragedy to us could be part of a much larger and ultimately benevolent plan that we're just not able to grasp.
So trusting that even in the midst of like chaos or suffering,
Yes.
there's a higher order at work,
Yeah, that's the essence of it.
even if we can't see it.
Yeah, and he encourages us to shift our focus from trying to control or understand everything
Okay.
to simply accepting what is and trusting that even the most difficult experiences are ultimately opportunities for growth.
Okay. So it's a pretty radical shift in perspective.
It is.
But I have to say, it feels kind of liberating when you start to think about it that way.
It is. It's about letting go of the need to know all the answers and trusting that the universe has our back even when we can't see the path.
Okay, so this has been incredible.
Good.
Reality transurfing, it's really thought-provoking.
It is.
But before we wrap up, I have one last question.
Okay.
So Zeland talks a lot about like the power of our thoughts and intentions to shape reality.
Yeah.
But what about actions?
Yes.
Like if we're spending all our time visualizing and releasing importance, but we're not actually doing anything, are we really like living in alignment with reality transurfing?
Right. That gets to the heart of how it works in the real world. It's not just about thinking positive thoughts or dreaming big dreams. It's about taking inspired action.
So finding that balance between surrendering to the flow
Yes,
and taking those concrete steps.
exactly. He says that actions are essential,
Okay.
but they should flow from a place of alignment, not force or struggle. He says pay attention to your energy levels. Notice which actions feel expansive and energizing and which ones feel draining or depleting.
So choosing actions that make us feel good,
Yes, excited, inspired.
not forcing ourselves to do things that feel bad.
Exactly. And he reminds us that even small actions can have a profound impact when they're infused with intention,
Okay,
aligned with our purpose.
that's empowering. It feels like we have more agency than we realize.
We do. It's about awakening to our true potential as conscious creators
Okay.
and learning to dance with the universe.
This has been mind expanding.
Good, I'm glad.
I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of reality transurfing,
We have, yeah.
but I'm seeing the world in a whole new light.
It's a journey of discovery, and I encourage your listeners to explore these concepts further, to experiment with the techniques,
Yeah,
and see how reality transurfing can empower them.
absolutely. I'm still thinking about everything we've been talking about.
Yeah.
It's like reality transurfing is like this whole new way of like looking at life.
It is. It's a whole different framework.
Yeah, a whole new framework. But, I have to admit, one thing is like understanding it intellectually.
Right.
And another thing is actually living it, putting it into practice.
It's a process.
Yeah. And Zeland talks about how our dreams can be a really powerful tool for connecting with that.
Yes.
For connecting with that. And he says that dreams aren't just random, things from our subconscious. They're like glimpses into other realities, other possibilities.
He ties it to the idea that, like, our soul is traveling through these different realities while we sleep,
Okay.
exploring different potentialities and gathering information.
But that's why sometimes dreams are so bizarre.
Exactly. They might be echoes of those journeys.
It's like we're traveling without even realizing it.
Right. And he even suggests that our waking reality is a kind of dream,
Oh, wow.
just one that we're less conscious of creating.
Okay.
We get so caught up in the rules and expectations, our own limiting beliefs, that we forget we have the power to choose a different script.
So we're kind of like sleepwalking through life.
In a way, yes.
It's reacting to things instead of creating them.
Yeah. And he suggests that lucid dreaming, where you become aware that you're dreaming, is a powerful metaphor for what's possible in our waking reality.
So if we can wake up in our dreams,
Yeah.
can we wake up in our lives too?
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
It's about reclaiming that power, remembering that we are creators.
But if we have that power to shape our reality,
Yeah.
why do so many people struggle?
Right.
Why is there so much pain and suffering in the world?
It's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he offers a perspective that might be challenging.
Okay.
He says that a lot of the suffering we experience is our own resistance
Okay.
to the natural flow of life, to what he calls the alternatives flow.
So it's not about blaming ourselves.
No, it's about understanding
How
how our thoughts and beliefs and actions contribute to our experiences.
So when we fight against what is, we're actually creating more suffering.
Yeah, it's like swimming upstream,
Okay.
exhausting yourself instead of just letting the current carry you.
But the universe has a plan, right?
That's what he says.
Even if we can't see it.
Yes, surrendering to that flow doesn't mean giving up on our dreams.
Okay.
It means trusting that we're being supported,
Even when it's hard.
even when it's hard.
So it's this balance between surrender and action.
It is a beautiful dance.
Yeah.
We're the captain of our ship and the surfer riding the waves.
That's a great analogy.
And the more skilled we become at this dance, the more we become masterful creators of our reality.
This has been incredible.
I'm glad.
Reality transurfing has really given me a lot to think about.
It's a journey.
Yeah, a journey for sure. And it really leaves us with this question. If reality is malleable, what will we choose to create?
What kind of world do we want to dream into being?
So as you go about your day, keep an eye out for those, what was it, shades in the scenery?
Shades in the scenery.
Yeah, those little signs.
The synchronicities, those little opportunities, those moments of grace.
Because they might just be guiding us
guiding us towards our highest potential.
towards the reality we're meant to create.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
This has been amazing. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you next time.